Hello everybody. Getting used to where the camera is again. It's a bit weird. Anyhow, I suppose I should probably put it in the middle, but at least this way everyone gets to see how big my nose is. Anyhow, let's check my game volume. Welcome back everybody. I'm a bit subdued. It's like 2 or 3 in the morning. But this is the new machinery. So we've got an output here. And I'll demonstrate how this is rigged in a minute. But that pours into this hopper, which goes into the smelter, which goes through a sorter. And yeah, probably an unnecessary bit of conveyor there that takes waste from that sorter. But at one point, the smelter was kicking out dirt. So that's what I wanted to check. Nothing in there. Okay, cool. So yeah, up here is the output from the wash plant. And as you can see, it's full of gold. All full of gold. Gold is full. Ruby and diamond ore and silicon ore are being kept with a certain amount empty. Mainly because I don't have anywhere to process the silicon yet. Anyhow, by occupying every space inside here, it turns it into a filter. So currently, because the gold's full and everything else has got slots, it will just keep spewing gold out into this hopper. And since that doesn't process silicon, I should assume any silicon will end up in the container over there. So yeah, that's what this bit of this system is about. Over here I've got a little bit of staging. I'm going to put the advanced smelter probably up that valley. I'm not sure. Maybe over here. I've got a 4x4 here, and I've started sort of clearing a road. It's not really there yet. I've got to backfill this valley and a few other things, but we'll get there. Still no industrial plant for dealing with rubies and diamonds, but there we go. I'm sure there's probably a better way of doing this by now in the game, but currently this appears to be the way. Right, let's got that lot rolling. So yeah, material is taken from the bottom of these grates and up to the top, processed. Pretty simple, really. Right, GPS, as you can see, I've got it installed on top of the cab in one of the free slots. To do that, make sure that you've bought a GPS and it's actually in your personal inventory. Then when you're in the vehicle like this, press I to bring up the vehicle's inventory. Vehicles have storage on board, but I think everything in there will disappear if you put it back into your inventory. So I'm not sure about that. I could be wrong. But yeah, these 2 slots are normally empty. So you just drag the GPS receiver from your inventory, dump it onto there, all done. That's installed. So you exit that menu. You see it in the top right of the HUD at the moment. It's not my favorite position, but anyhow. So position the bucket at the height that you want the GPS set at. I want it there, but I want the bucket level, so I'll just adjust that. And then in the control settings page, you can set up 0 the GPS, which I've got on shift and 0. And that just, as you can see, the red line and the blue line, now in line with the bucket. So Where was I at? I was probably digging. Seem to have been digging in this direction. Yeah, we'll give it a go. It's been a little while since I've done any gaming. I've been busy smelting iron, brick making, doing a few different things, getting down on the survival tools, you know. Too much out of ore, and Space Engineers gave me a lust for the real thing. You'll have to excuse me scratching away. I spent about 2.5 to 3 hours fixing a little error by a member of my family where a mostly full dishwasher, which was clean, proceeded to be topped off with dirty and then emptied into all the cupboards. So I had to empty all the cupboards of everything that was probably in the dishwasher and give it a good wash. So yeah, I wasn't particularly impressed. I'm over it now. Maybe. Not entirely sure. Anyhow. So yeah, this is the setup at the moment, and I just keep on running in and out of the face like this with this, because there just isn't enough space down here yet to run the dumper. So just there is a lump of dirt. It is a little bit annoying, so we're going to get rid of that. So yeah, it's just a matter of stripping out this layer of the mine. Till I can pretty much turn back round and come back at it the other way again. I've already done this a couple of times between the last live stream and now. This mine has expanded a lot. However, it was sort of in half-hour bursts, you know, here and there before dinner. It wasn't even worth setting up the stream, so I figured you guys wouldn't miss the grind. And it was grind. There was an awful lot of non-profit dirt involved. Oh, and I think I'm automatically selling coal. Got a feeling that storage is probably full. I don't like overhangs, but just down here, I figure it might be worth having one, so it won't be there forever. I'm trying not to like ram my bucket when I dig coal, because it's fairly high profit realistically. Mainly due to the large volume. There's a lot of coal down here. I could be all dainty and tunnel it out and follow the seams, but it's just not my style. $63,100,091. So. My PC's fans are howling like banshees because I'm live streaming. Don't often hear them. Amazing how much extra effort my computer can do when it wants to. It's very lazy. I don't exercise it as often as I should. I should play more. Some more frenetic high-speed gaming perhaps at some point. 7 Days to Die would probably be choice. I don't know. Been a long time since I've done shooting games. I enjoy my Space Engineers too much. That, and I think I'm getting old and slow because the shooting games all seem to be about high speed. Battlefield's apparently a bit slower. Likewise, apparently Armour, it can be a good sim. But I don't know. I haven't seen any news in 3 or 4 days, maybe a week, because I've been working continuously outside in the garden. And I feel great for it, everybody. I recommend a break from all of this poisonous, toxic mass media trash and all of the political maneuvering and shenanigans we see with any public figure these days. You can spot the honest ones who aren't being manipulated by some kind of weird thing going on. They're quiet at the moment. Everyone's keeping their head down. And I don't blame them with the current climate in this country. It's a nightmare. But there we go. The World War III doom-mongering makes me laugh, but that's because I'm a child of the 80s and remember the actual Cold War, which is kind of funny. The generations that came after me they don't have the weird sort of fatality that those born under the cloud of that have towards it. I recommend for those of you who didn't live through the Cold War to read a book or watch the video. I'm sure it's probably available online, but you want to get the full version. I think it was by Stanley Kubrick, and it's called Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. And it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious, but it genuinely gets the feel of the era. Even if the reality of the situation is quite different from the storyline. But it's a good giggle. I recommend that one. Sorry, I have a thing for Cold War entertainment. Some of the stuff is hilarious. I especially love some of the propaganda. Russian communist era propaganda movies are side-splittingly funny, especially the ones that were aimed for sort of the German end of the communist socialist republics, I guess. But yeah, the comedy is genius. That came out in that era. And I say comedy because like some of the propaganda is pretty much comedy. Other bits of it are actually quite scary. When you consider that China's sort of in the era at the moment, it's worrying. But hey, I'm relying on America's ample defense budget to help out if there's any kind of problem. It normally does. Seems to have been the deciding factor in most conflicts since about 1942. So yeah, we're all good. I saw something interesting the other day. I'm about to plug another YouTube channel, but for those of you who live in Texas, I've been watching Brandon Herrera, or Herrera. I'm not sure how it's pronounced really. He doesn't say his last name much. but he is standing for government, and the guy, even though he is a gun tuber, admittedly, and I'm from the UK, so sort of forbidden territory for anyone who lives in the UK. I mean, jeepers, anything above a 12 bore? Are you kidding? Are you some kind of psychopath? You know, we're not allowed full auto, we're not allowed pistols. We're not even allowed big rifles without special licenses. Like, it's just no fun over here anymore. We don't get tannerite. It's just not fun. But Brandon is one of the more reasonable people and creators I've seen in his field on YouTube. He keeps it very calm. Some of his stuff is absolutely hilarious. So yeah, I recommend giving his channel a watch. And if you live in Texas, vote for him, donate what you can to him, because I wish we had people like him in our government. And that's from UK, the home of democracy for 600 years. So yeah. Currently, it's like living in a NoFX song. Something from the war on errorism. The idiots have taken over. But yeah. Pretty sure it's a certain chemical that they're loading the food with instead of sugar. Well, chemical group, because there's an awful lot of them in an awful lot of products, and I think the general thing overloads people's brains and they lose the ability to think straight and start, using body parts to cram wood chip bits into shredders and stuff like that. Take the safety labels off everything, we might solve most of the problems, but yeah. In this country, that's the same heading as asking for the death penalty. But yeah, which we could do with. The prisons are really crowded. However, I don't get. I'm sorry, it's a controversial subject, I know, and don't think I'm for or against it, but if you're going to use the death penalty, you should really use something that works and is fairly cost effective, preferably tidy, but that's not necessary. In the UK, we favoured the rope, which is all right. I mean, I'm not that much of a fan. I class it as degrading for the prisoner and for the executioner. Likewise, these lethal injections don't seem to work any well. Nitrogen chambers, meh, not that keen. Personally, I think the one that's got all the dignity is probably the firing squad still. It's pretty much guaranteed, and no one knows who fired the killing shots. So, but if you can't find that many willing men, I'll do it. Like, it's just a job, right? And with my history, I've got nothing to worry about. Too much to explain at the pearly gates anyway, so why worry? But it's a service to the community and everything. Pretty sure there's a few South African hangmen living in the UK after the regime collapsed. I think they were the most prolific for that one in modern time. Oh, of course. Yeah. I'm that old that I still remember when Africa wasn't run by Nelson Mandela. Yeah, I'm showing my age because he's been dead a while. Ironic thing, his brother blew himself up or something in one of those nasty incidents where things you make go off in your face too early. Nice bunch. Best check the comments and see if anyone's actually watching. Yeah, nobody watching. Cool. No comments. Cool. Nice and quiet. I would expect it to be so at silly o'clock in the morning. One thing to remember with this game is when the autosave runs, it locks the terraforming for a bit so you can't dig. And if you tip dirt, it won't form. Something to do with synchronization of multiplayer games, I feel, but also the length of time it takes to do that is related to the amount of voxels you have modified. So the bigger things get, the longer it takes. Interesting thing to remember. A lot of games work in a similar way. Probably not the most efficient way of digging that bit out, but got the job done. Oh, hello. That's a different colour. This may be the point where I have to build the advanced smelter. Just taking my time about this because this is my excited face, I promise. I'm very excited about what I've just found over there, but I do want to level all of this up so that it's a bit smoother. That didn't go right. Right, time to find out what we've got here. Also time to take the compactor in. Pretty self-explanatory. When the vibro is off, no rolling. When the vibro is on, you start flattening ground. Or raising it up, depending on what you end up rolling on. Looks like I'll be using some more concrete panels down here. I want the compactor on a larger chassis. That's my dream, my wish list item. Larger compactor, some kind of scraper like a dragline. That would be great. Dragline, larger compactor. That's the wish list. Totally. I can't think of any other machines that I want more. Bigger tunnel boring machine, maybe. Gem washing bit for the factory, maybe. What's on your wish list? Let me know in the comments. Not on the live stream comments, but on the actual video comments. That would be great. Like and a subscribe also would be awesome. Mainly because the more subscribers I have, the more chance of getting these opinions across to the devs. So, you know, I'm more than willing to take on the bat for game improvement, people. If you've got an improving idea and you want to take it forward, subscribe to me and I will argue for you. Just leave it in the comments. If I think it's worthy, I'll take it on. And I normally do. I'm pretty good at seeing other people's points. Having the GPS so that you could select where it is in the settings menu would be kind of cool. As in the location on the HUD. Or maybe have it dependent on where you mount it on the vehicle. I don't know. We now have a new tool, and it's this thing, the metal analyzer. You select it. And it tells you by clicking what you're looking at. Handy piece of kit. It's a lot easier than getting the digger in with a drill. Digger, excavator, whichever. Just rub a little bit more vibe on it down this edge. I'm not even sure I have actually compacted this side, so doing the outside edge will help me out later. have no idea if that last bit even went into the bucket, but who cares? It's just overburden. I say it's just overburden, it's cold, but when you've got stone there, it's just overburden. I miss the days of click delete. Excuse me. Reminds me there was a time in this game when you could actually turn on a demolition tool, and it meant that anything your machine drove into was destroyed, which was kind of hilarious. You'd park a machine on a floor like this with a demolition tool on and just start falling through it. Annoying, but also kind of amusing. And handy. You want to get rid of a building fast, you could just drive through it with a bulldozer, literally. It was good. is there that I want to go through? suppose after an hour or so of digging, it's probably time to have a look and see what we've got on with, really. So that's what I got to remember to do before I get up there. Yeah. I remember how that runs now. Down there, up there, dunk, dunk, dunk. Yeah, good time to stop, nearly out of fuel. Which means my machine upstairs might be out of fuel. So the rescue button is there. You click rescue me and it puts you on the location where you've set your rescue, which in my case is there where that bell is. But you can click and set it anywhere on the map that you want to by standing there and clicking the set button. Quite a simple process. You even finished running. Yeah. So let's see what we've got. Yeah. Run it anyway. So yeah, this is the smelter. So it's running in there, straight into this smelting unit here. Boxes of gold on the conveyor belt going out. Nothing on the waste. And here we have lots of gold. And here we have some more varied ore. So, production-wise, in the factory, we have production. You have all kinds of processing equipment like the bar roller, which I'm using, which takes anything melted and turns it into a bar. It's kind of useful. Beam only works on steel. The bloom roller works on these. Okay, so that rolls blooms. So the smelter I've currently got built is this one. Oh, it will take the copper. Yeah, awesome. All to the good. So yeah, there's a fair amount of gold here for sale. That looks to have finished processing. So much faster. That would have taken an hour and a half to process that much gold in the lot in the manual smelters. So I burnt my way through 24 to 30 kilos of charcoal, smelting what is probably 500 grams of iron. So yeah, not the best ratio, but we'll see. That ratio may improve. Anyhow, I'm thinking I'm kind of tired, and it's pretty much grind at the moment. We're just going into the stone down there. I don't think it's anything interesting. Let's go and have a look though. That's where the copper ore is. At that end. Yeah, interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to call it a night here, I think, since I still need to eat. So yeah, to facilitate that, it's going to be longer than a normal break. So yeah, for those who have joined me live, thank you for being up at stupid o'clock in the morning. For those who are watching it later after the event, well done. Thank you for joining me again. Takes some kind of dedication. But yeah, this is where we're at. I'm going to keep grinding this mine in half-hour bursts. See if I can get a bit further through it. So yeah, stay safe out there and look after yourselves, everybody. Feel free to leave a comment. Any suggestions you have for what to do with this place. I'm going to be getting into road building at some point, so that's one thing on the list. And give it a like and a subscribe because it all helps. It'd be nice to get the channel to the point where I can actually sort of turn around to other creators and say I'm here. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, so stay safe out there. See you later. Bye for now.